Good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. This is the pre-show mantra. We'll get into the show momentarily. I deserve to be healthy. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be rich. I deserve to be wealthy. I deserve to be free. The more you learn, the more you earn. Thereby, the more you earn, the more you learn. I am a certified Wall Street trapper. I am confident in my abilities to make great investments. The stock market is a machine, and I am more than capable of operating this machine.
Sometimes you got to be the thing you never had, the leader you never got. Sometimes you got to be the encouragement that you never received and show the empathy that you never got from somebody else. You got to be a leader. Sometimes you got to go, you know what? I don't always see the path. It's not always that clear. Sometimes you got to wake up with a shovel and go, yeah, I'm still going to pave the way. Leadership does not always come with an instruction manual. Sometimes that's the gig. You are the instruction manual.
Yes, sir. Good game from the boy. Good game from the King Ryan Leak on Instagram. But let's get into it, y'all. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from around the globe. Welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers broadcast, and welcome to the $1 Trillion Tickers family. This is a live market breakdown covering the $1 trillion stocks, SPX, the NASDAQ 100, SPY, and QQQ. We are covering pre-market levels, opening bell moves, headlines that move the market and or are associated with our $1 trillion stocks. We'll be looking at charts, checking on Bitcoin at Ethereum levels, and some motivation along the way. Like that clip I just played in the pre-market mantra. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. This is for education and entertainment only. Always do your own research, but you can use this show as a foundation. Let's get into it. Yesterday, we saw a beautiful recovery rally to kick off the first full week of 2026. The S&P 500 proved once again that it knows how to find its footing after a little volatility, ending in the green as tech took the lead. But if you think yesterday was exciting, wait until you see what's happening in Vegas right now. The CES power move, CES 2026 is officially the year of physical AI. Jensen Huang just took the stage for NVIDIA and unveiled the Vera Rubin platform, shipping later this year with 5 times the AI performance of Blackwell, which was previously the most powerful chip in the world. He says, we're talking about AI moving from chatbots into the real world, from self-driving reasoning models in Mercedes-Benz cars to robots that actually think before they move. The infrastructure of the next decade is being built right now in front of us. Between Lisa Su's new AMD AI chips and NVIDIA's roadmap, the AI trade is evolving fast. Now, I know all of this tech jargon can be a lot. That's why I dropped a special video for you yesterday. It's a 15-card crash course to master the basics of the stock market. If you haven't seen it yet, it's waiting on you on this channel. This is the first clip. It says, what exactly is the stock market? And I break that down for y'all. So you can check that out on my YouTube channel, Matt Richards 510 AI Music, on TikTok and YouTube. And at the end of the clip, I have a very special wall of green that shows the last 50 years of the S&P 500 and how green it is. And that should definitely inspire you to put more money into the market. If not an individual company, definitely into the S&P 500, y'all. All right, let's check out these pre-market levels. So NVIDIA, pre-market low. Before we get into the pre-market levels, let's get into some of these market caps. So the number one most valuable company in the world is NVIDIA, 4.5 trillion, followed by Apple, 3.9 trillion, Google, 3.8 trillion, Microsoft, 3.5 trillion, Amazon, 2.4 trillion, TSM, 1.67 trillion, Meta, 1.66 trillion, AVGO, 1.62 trillion, Tesla, 1.5 trillion, and Berkshire.B at $1 trillion, y'all. All right, let's get into these pre-market levels. NVIDIA, pre-market low, 188.18. Pre-market high, 190.30. Apple, pre-market low, 266.20. Pre-market high, 276.71. Google, pre-market low, 316.16. Pre-market high, 317.38. Microsoft, pre-market low, 471.91. Pre-market high, 473.48. Amazon, pre-market low, 232.50. Pre-market high, 233.70. TSM, nice gap up overnight. Pre-market low, 328.21. Pre-market high, 330.49. AVGO, pre-market low, 342.34. Pre-market high, 344.10. Meta, pre-market low, 656 even. Pre-market high, 659.75. Tesla looks like it's in a downtrend in the pre-market and down from yesterday. Pre-market low, 447.10. Pre-market high, 452.71. Berkshire.B, pre-market low, 497.65. Pre-market high, 499.99. The VIX is back over 15, y'all. SPY, pre-market low, 686.88. Pre-market high, 688.19. QQQ, pre-market low, 617.38. Pre-market high, 619.57. SPX, pre-market low, 6,888. Pre-market high, 6,906. And the NASDAQ 100, pre-market low, 25,335. And a pre-market high of 25,462. All right, let's get into some news, y'all, before the market opens. Okay, this first piece of news comes from Reuters Business on Twitter. Here it is.
Samsung could give Google a major boost in the AI race. The South Korean firm's co-CEO said Monday it plans to double the number of its mobile devices with Galaxy AI features this year, and it will largely be powered by Google's Gemini. Samsung already rolled out Gemini-backed AI features to about 400 million products by last year. It now plans to raise that figure to 800 million over the next 12 months. The company's co-CEO T.M. Rowe told Reuters previously Samsung will apply AI to all products and services as quickly as possible. Samsung is the world's largest supporter of Google's Android mobile platform. This latest plan helps Google in its race with OpenAI and others to attract more consumers to their AI model. One leading researcher said Samsung will offer integrated AI services across consumer products to widen its lead over Apple in such features.
So yeah, Google is doing big business with Samsung, y'all, and they trying to take over Apple's spot. All right, this next piece of news is coming from Earn Your Leisure. It's about buying the right house, y'all. Check it out.
A lot of people go broke because of a house. This is something that I'm realizing, right? Yeah. Because you buy the house, you have the mortgage for the house, then you got to furnish the house, and you got to do all kinds of landscaping and all that. Then it's the constant upkeep. It's the constant upkeep of the house, right? You got your electric bill, you got your gas bill, you got your cable bill, you got all these different things, right? Then you got to cut the grass. Then things break over the course of time. Then you got to repair the sink. Then you got to repair the dryer. Then you have to pay property taxes. So the bigger the house, the bigger you can have thousands of dollars a month in utility bills if your house is big enough, right? You can have $50,000 a year in taxes if your house is big enough, right? You can have $20,000 a year in upkeep if your house is big enough, let alone the mortgage that you're paying, right? So now you're one of these things where two things happen. You lose opportunity costs because all of this money is just coming. It's like $100,000 every single year that you're coming out, right? What's the opportunity cost that money was invested? Zero, because this is money that you're just spending as opposed to $100,000 invested, right? We talk about stocks. So now let's say over the course of 10 years, that's $1 million that you invested. That could easily be $2 million. That could easily be $2.5, $3 million, right? As opposed to now that's zero. And anything can happen. Now your income starts to fluctuate. You go down. You still got to pay. You might try to sell your house. Your house isn't selling on time. So now you're running through your savings. So now before you know, you burn through savings, and that's something I'm just coming to the realization, like, oh, this is how they get.
Shout out to Rashad, man. Don't buy that mansion if you ain't ready. Don't buy that mansion too soon, y'all. You gotta scale into the crib, man. Do not buy that mansion off top. All right, let's get into a couple more pieces of news before the market opens. This is from Unusual Wells on Twitter. President Trump could potentially, though unconfirmed, seize any actual Venezuelan crypto holdings for the U.S. Strategic Reserve. So not only is Trump taking over Venezuela's 303 billion barrels of oil, Trump could potentially take their crypto as well. I believe last year or maybe 2 years ago, Venezuela went heavy on crypto. Super heavy on crypto. I think they were the first major country to go heavy on crypto. And then it definitely had pulled back, but it's definitely way higher than when they had bought it. So, yeah, man. Trump is a straight tyrant, bro. He going around the world taking what they got. He don't care. It's crazy. All right. Next piece of news. This is also from Unusual Wells. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting has been dissolved, ending its 58 years as a primary funder for CBS, NPR, and local TV and radio stations. So that's interesting, So this was actually created in 1967, and this entity distributed roughly $535 million in annual federal funds to CBS, NPR, and 1,500 plus local stations following Congress's elimination of its budget in late 2025. The board voted shutdown on January 5th. Stems from GOP-led efforts to defund perceived biased media, echoing 2025's threat during Trump's second term, and will force stations to seek alternative funding amid projected 15 to 20% revenue losses. while components celebrate reduced taxpayer spending on public media, totaling over $30 billion since inception. Opponents warn of diminished access to educational content in rural areas where public stations serve 95% of U.S. households without commercial alternatives. Dang, not taking away PBS and NPR, y'all. Plus the local stations. Man, now it's going to be nothing but unbiased media. Damn, they is not playing, y'all. Alright, market about to open, so let's prepare for that. We got about 20 seconds. Oh, shoot. Market open, market open, market open. Let's go, y'all. The market is open. January 6th, 2026, y'all. The market is open. Let's get into it. Let's see what these stocks are doing. Oh, we got a sell signal on Amgen on the daily, y'all. We got a sell signal. But let's get to our $1 trillion tickers first. We got NVIDIA. It's up almost 1.5% at 190.65, y'all. Apple is down almost 0.5% at 266.07. Google is up 1% at 319.90. Microsoft is up fractionally at 473.42. Amazon is up over 0.25% at 233.92. Home Depot got a sell signal on a daily. TSM is up over 2.5%. TSM is now at 330.50. AVGO is down almost 0.5% at 341.42. Meta is up 0.25% at 660.57. Tesla is down almost 2% at 442.65. Berkshire.B is down over 0.25% at 496.50. The VIX is back under 15 at 1493. The SPY is barely over break even at 688.40. QQQ is up over 0.25% at 619.90. SPX is up fractionally at 6,910. And the NAS 100 is up over 0.25% at 25,481. So while I read the news, I'm going to put these charts on here. So this platform is TradingView. I currently have 8 tickers on here. The 8 most valuable companies in the world, starting at the top left-hand corner and going to the right. We have NVIDIA, Apple, Google, Microsoft. And then underneath, we have, starting on the left, we have Amazon, TSM, AVGO, and Meta. All right, let's get into some more news, y'all. So this news is from Market Watch on Twitter. It says Adidas gets a double downgrade as analysts call to end the casual trend, y'all. So this is a rare double downgrade of Adidas by Bank of America Securities from a buy to an underperform, slashing the price target from around 213 to about 160 as the analyst declares the end to the 2-decade casualization trend that drove the sneaker market from 20% to 50% in footwear. The analyst attributes the shift to a peaking sneaker demand post-COVID, stagnant U.S. sports participation, which is over 40% of Adidas revenue, and a prolonged industry down cycle since Q2 of 2023. Forecasting organic sales growth to slow to global GDP levels about 5%, including inflation. Adidas shares plunged 7% on the news, underperforming all other stocks, the Europe 600 stocks. So there's that. All right. Next piece of news is from Business Insider on Twitter. AMD CEO Lisa Su announced at CES 2026, which started yesterday, that AI systems will require 10 yottaflops, equivalent to 10 quintillion calculations per second within 5 years, marking a 10,000-fold surge in 2022's 1 zettaflop global capacity. What the hell does that mean? That is insane. We talking yottaflops, y'all. We talking straight yottaflops. You thought we was talking heavy in 2022 when we was talking about zettaflops? Nah, bruh. We talking about yottaflops, equivalent to 10 quintillion calculations per second within 5 years, y'all. That's a lot of compute, y'all. That's a lot of compute. So what we got to do, we got to focus on the companies that are going to capitalize market cap wise off this never heard of before increase in compute. So this compute level enables groundbreaking applications like atomic scale simulations of entire planets, but it exceeds current supercomputers by 5.6 million times and risks overwhelming the U.S. power grid due to infrastructure delays. Su's remarks highlight AI's unprecedented growth trajectory, outstripping all prior computing eras and driving chip makers like AMD to innovate beyond exascale for sustainable scaling, y'all. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. You definitely want to be invested in these companies once they're able to complete this type of compute and these type of simulations. All right, this next piece of news comes from Business Insider. This is from Anthropic's president, Daniela Amodini. I don't know, I probably didn't say her name right, but shout out to her. And she says, by definitions, we've already surpassed that. And what is she talking about? She's talking about AGI. Give me 1 second, y'all. I need a drink. All right, we'll get back to that piece of news in a minute. This next piece of news comes from Business Insider. Low oil prices are squeezing Russia's wartime economy and deepening the impact of Western sanctions. New moves in global energy markets, including the U.S. raise on Venezuela, could intensify that pressure. All right, let's check out this clip from CES yesterday. Jensen was on stage at CES, and he has a couple little robots with him, y'all. Let's see what he says.
Today, I can tell you that Vera Rubin is in full production.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang said Monday that the company's next generation of chips was in full production, promising to deliver 5 times the AI computing of earlier models. He was speaking at the annual Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. It comes as the world's most valuable company faces mounting competition from rivals and its own customers. Set to launch later this year, the flagship Vera Rubin platform packs 6 separate NVIDIA chips with 72 graphic units and 36 new central processors. These can be linked into pods with over 1,000 Rubin chips working together. To achieve these performance gains, Huang said the hardware uses proprietary data formats that he hopes the industry will embrace.
This is completely revolutionary. this is how we were able to deliver such a gigantic step up in performance, even though we only have 1.6 times the number of transistors.
The AI chip leader also introduced new features aimed at helping chatbots handle complex conversations with millions of users simultaneously. Huang also showcased new self-driving car software called Alpamayo that he said will be open sourced.
Not only do we open source the models, we also open source the data that we use to train those models. Because only in that way can you truly trust how the models came to be.
The same day saw rival AMD show off its latest AI chips in Las Vegas too. It's selling them to customers, including ChatGPT maker OpenAI.
All right. Let's get back to the numbers, y'all. Let's get back to the numbers.
Today, I can tell you that Vera Rubin is in full production.
All right. Let's check out the heat map, y'all. Let's see where money is moving from and money is going to. NVIDIA's up over 1.25%. Apple is down over 1.25%. AVGO down almost 1%. AMD down 1.5%. Google and Microsoft up 0.25%. Meta headed toward. Google is up over 0.25%. Microsoft is down 0.25%. Meta is down almost 0.5%. Palantir is up almost 1%. Netflix is down almost 1%. Tesla is down 2.5%. Headed to 3%. JP Morgan is down 0.5%. Wells Fargo is down 1%. MasterCard is up over 0.5%. Visa is up 0.25%. All right, let's see. Let's check on these $1 trillion tickers, y'all. Google. Oh man, look at this nice run up. The first 3 minutes, and now it's headed to the downside, y'all. Come on, Google, what happened? All right, Google's heading toward break even at 316.90. Microsoft is down to 471.56. TSM is up 1.6% at 327. Oh yeah, it's looking like everything had a big pop in the beginning at the market open, and now stuff is pulling back. Look at Meta, man. 2 good candles and then straight down. Dang, Meta. And Tesla just been going down all day. Tesla ain't have no good candle in the beginning at the open. Berkshire looks to be heading to the upside. All right, let's check out some of our other companies that I like to cover here. Bitcoin, wow, hold on. AMD, look at that chart, y'all. AMD straight down, man. AMD straight down. Down over 2%. AMD down to 216. Bitcoin is currently at 94,245, y'all. iBit is at break even at 53.47. Ethereum, that thing's back at 3,300, y'all. Surprised to see it. BMNR is up almost 1.5% at 33.80. Palantir is up almost 1% at 175.43. Hood is down 0.75% at 122.22. Grab is running, y'all. Grab is running. Grab is at 529, y'all. And XLG, a little under break even at 59.23. All right, let's get back into this news from earlier. Daniela Amodi, Anthropic's president, urges in a recent CNBC interview that the traditional AGI benchmark, AI matching human capabilities, is outdated, as models like Claude already exceed many engineers in coding tasks while failing at other human at others humans handle effortlessly. This perspective shifts focus from AGI as a singular milestone to practical AI deployment challenges, such as business adoption barriers like procurement and change management, amid Anthropic's $10 billion investments in AI infrastructure. Amodi's comments underscores a key tension in AI development: rapid domain-specific advances, evidenced by Claude's professional-level code generation, contrasts with persistent graphs and general versatility, prompting reevaluation of progress metrics beyond hype-driven narratives, y'all. She said we already there, man, in a lot of cases, y'all. We already there. AGI is basically where computers can match the level of human capabilities. Not in all forms, but in some. And then our other piece of news was about Russia. So Russia's economy, reliant on oil for over 30% of federal budget revenue, faces intensified strain from a 20% oil price drop in 2025 and Western sanctions imposed since the 2022 Ukraine invasion, with GDP slowing to 0.1% in November 2025 amid a 0.7% industrial output decline. President Putin responded by ordering tax hikes, including raising consumption tax from 20% to 22%, effective January 1st, 2026. Projected to generate 1 trillion rubles, that is $12.3 billion, alongside a new electronics tax in September to bolster wartime funding as inflation targets drop to 4 to 5% for the end of the year. A recent U.S. raid on Venezuela could flood global markets with additional oil supply, further depressing prices and eroding Russia's export income, as noted by investor Michael Burry, who stated Russia's oil just became less important in the mid to long term. All right, this is a quick clip from Jensen at CES. I do have a lot of clips from Jensen. This is one of the most important things going on in the world of AI and technology.
We imagine that someday 1 billion cars on the road will all be autonomous. You could either have it be a robo-taxi that you're orchestrating and renting from somebody, or you could own it and it's driving by itself, or you could decide to drive for yourself. And so, but every single car will have autonomous vehicle capability. Every single car will be AI powered.
Every single car. Someday 1 billion cars on the road will be autonomous, says Jensen yesterday at CES. So you might still drive it, but you won't have to, basically. So we have to invest in the companies that will make that technology capable. So NVIDIA, they doing a lot of business with Mercedes, and the other technology companies that do business with NVIDIA will be good to invest in. The other chip companies like TSM or AVGO. All right, let's check out the Fear and Greed Index, y'all. The Fear and Greed Index. Okay, we are in neutral, y'all. The Fear and Greed Index is at 48 right now. So it's not too much fear in the market, not too much greed in the market. We just sitting at neutral, y'all. So we should be able to see some green on the charts, y'all. All right. This next item that I'm reading is from Aristotle on Twitter. He's stunned. He definitely stunned. But I love to see it, man, so I gotta read it. This is from Aristotle Investments on Twitter. He says, I accomplished everything under the age of 30. I joined the Army at 18, My mother was pregnant with me and my sister as a teenager. My father was in the streets. I beat the odds with no handouts or no inheritance. No big homie, no mentor, no OG. When I finally got OGs, I was 5 million up already in 2021. In my eyes, I'm one of the greatest to ever walk this earth. Woo! Talk that talk, man. Salute, bro. He said, there isn't a black man in the United States under 30 who's made the type of money I did without music, sports, or industry plant deals. I'm talking about independently, using my own brain. I'm proud of myself. But at the end of the day, the mission isn't complete. Until I help as many young men accomplish their dreams like I did, that's when I feel like I did something worldly great. I impacted many. I created many millionaires, influenced a whole generation of traders, and still got a long way to go. The marathon continues. Get your money, young man. Get your money. Salute. Definitely salute, man. All right. This next piece of news is from the Kobayashi letter. This is what Trump had to say. Today, the Trump administration is proud to announce the United States of America updated its childhood vaccination schedule. This schedule is rooted in the gold standard of science and is widely agreed upon by scientists and experts all around the world. Effective today, America will no longer require 72 jabs. 72 jabs? Y'all giving babies 72 jabs? That is insane. It says America will no longer require 72 jabs for our beautiful, healthy children. We're moving to a far more reasonable schedule where all our children will only be recommended to receive 11 of the most serious and dangerous vaccinations. They will be recommended to receive vaccinations for 11 of the most serious and dangerous diseases. I guess they're taking away the serious and dangerous vaccinations since there's only 11 that is necessary now. Parents can still choose to give their children all the vaccinations if they wish, and they'll still be covered by insurance. However, this updated schedule finally aligns with the United States with other developed nations around the world. Congratulations to Robert Kennedy Jr. and the others who made this happen. They worked very hard. Many Americans, especially the MAHA moms, have been praying for these common sense reforms for many years. Thank you for all the attention on this matter. Donald J. Trump. So, in Europe, you only have to give your kids 11. And in the United States, you had to give 72 injections. So now the United States is like, all right, you don't need to give the kids 72. We'll just give them 11. Man, shout out Trump for doing that, man, because with all this autism numbers that's been running rampant ever since they've been giving kids these injections, now maybe this will slow down the autism rates. So we'll have to wait till next year and see if the autism rates have slowed. All right, another piece of medical news from Trump. Pregnant women, he's telling pregnant women, do not use Tylenol unless absolutely necessary. Do not give Tylenol to your young child for virtually any reason. Break up the MMR shot into 3 totally separate shots, not mixed. Take chickenpox separately. Take hepatitis B shot at 12 years old or older. And importantly, take vaccines in 5 separate medical visits. So apparently they was giving people all these vaccines at one time, and it was having all these terrible side effects for so many years, and now they finally have concluded or realized or have affected enough people negatively that they can now take away this recommendation. Very interesting, y'all. Very interesting. All right, let's see where we at. Let's check out the sectors, y'all. Let's see which sectors are moving today. All right, XLK, our technology sector, is up almost 1% at 45.85. XLY is down over 0.25% at 119.88. XLC, our communication sector, is down over 0.25% at 117.39. XLF, our financial sector, is down fractionally at 56.08. XLV is up 1.8%, y'all. That's the healthcare sector. That thing is running, y'all. XLP is up fractionally at 77.48. That's our consumer staples sector. XLE is down almost 1%. XLE is our energy sector, y'all, at 46.50. XLU, our utility sector, is at break even at 42.70. XLI, our industrial sector, is just about break even at 159.82. And XLRE, our real estate sector, is down fractionally at 40.42, y'all. All right, let's check out our $1 trillion tickers, y'all. Let's see where we at. See that nice recovery on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is up 2%, y'all, at 192. Apple is down over 1.25% at 263. Google is up almost 0.5% as it tries to recover from that major pullback at 634. It's now at 317. Microsoft is down fractionally at 472. Amazon is up almost 1.5%. Very nice on the day. It's at 236. TSM is up over 3%. Shout out TSM at 332. AVGO is barely over break even at 343. Meta is down almost 0.5% at 656. Tesla is down drastically, down over 3%, y'all, at 436, y'all. Berkshire.B is down over 0.25% at 496. The VIX is dropping on the day at 1466. SPY is up, looking real nice. SPY is up to 690, y'all. QQQ is up to 622. It's up over 0.5%. SPX is up to 6,925. And the NAS 100 at 25,567, y'all. All right, let's get back into some more news. Actually, let's check out Instagram. Let's see if we have some more stuff.
I saw Jeff Bezos say, he spoke to Warren Buffett, and he asked him, he said, look, your investment philosophy is not extremely complicated. Why don't you think more people don't just follow and copy exactly what you do as far as investing? Because it's pretty much open source. He said, because my philosophy is to get rich slow. And he said, nobody wants to get rich slow. That's why a lot of people, nobody really copies what I do. Mm-hmm. That's insightful as far as, everybody's always going to want to try to get rich quick and cut corners. And, nobody wants to take the long road in life. So that's never going to change. That's never going to change. It's going to be the same to the end of the world.
But for those of you who are willing to get rich slow, oh my God, life will be amazing for you.
Yeah, it's a slow grind.
Are you willing to get rich slow? Or are you in a rush to get rich? Don't be in a rush to get rich. That's how you get scammed. Shout out to that motivation, though. We got some more motivation, too.
Diamond is the diamond because of the cut. There's no two diamonds that have been cut alike. It's the cut that makes it. It's the cut that makes it valuable. It's the cut. God has to cut you. God has to refine you. And the process is not supposed to be comfortable. So if it hurts, welcome to the big leagues. If you feel like you're under heat, praise God. If you feel like you're being pressured, praise God. I went through 12 years of pressure, but when God looks like he's pulling you back, eventually he's going to let you go. And the farther he pulls you back, once he releases you, boom.
Woo! Let's go, E.T. Let's go, E.T. E.T. always be having me juice, man. Be dropping them gems like that. Salute E.T., man. Eric Thomas, man. All right, let's get back to Twitter. Twitter news. This next piece of news is from Benzinga. I thought this was very interesting. A viral Reddit post claimed that one employee used an unusual tactic to secure a raise. Their boss relied heavily on an AI assistant to sort and manage emails, rarely reading messages directly. Seeing the weakness, the worker slipped a hidden instruction into a normal email using tiny white text, prompting the AI to schedule a meeting in their favor. The meeting led to a performance review and eventually a raise. Commenters called the move clever, but the story revealed something more important than a pay bump. It exposed how over-reliance on automation can create blind spots that smart people might exploit. The issue was not just technology, it was leadership. A manager who does not review key messages, coupled with limited digital literacy, created unnecessary risk for the entire company. Simple technical safeguards could have prevented the trick. There was also a cautionary side for workers. The tactic was risky and could have easily backfired. Even the original poster warned not to try copying it, acknowledging that manipulation might cost someone their job. In the end, the raise came from preparation and confidence during the meeting, not the trick itself. The deeper lesson is that AI can assist work, but it cannot replace judgment, oversight, or honest conversations about value and performance. Yeah, shout out to bro, man. Shout out to bro. That was dope. That was dope. He like, man, I know this dude don't be reading it. He just be using AI to read his emails. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fool AI into hooking up a meeting so I could talk him into giving me a raise, man. Hey, that's smart, man. That's smart, man. Salute to bro. Salute to bro for executing on that great idea. All right. This next clip is from Trump. He probably got some comic relief, but let's see what he talking about.
Colombia is very sick, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States, and he's not going to be doing it very long. Let me tell you.
What does that mean? He's not going to be doing it very long.
He's not doing it very long. He has cocaine mills and cocaine factories. He's not going to be doing it very long. So
there will be an operation by the U.S. and
it sounds good to me. Colombia.
Oh no, this not no comic relief. Trump is talking about Colombia is next. You see how we just went in Venezuela and took over? He said Colombia is next. He's tired of Colombian drugs coming to America. Basically, that's what he's saying. That's my conjecture to that clip. Dang, Trump is crazy, y'all. Trump is going all across the world, taking over countries, y'all. Wow. And he's only been in office for 1 year. We got 3 more years of this, y'all. So I wonder where the U.S. is going to be sitting by the time Trump is out of office. He's definitely making sure that we remain the number one superpower based on what I see. All right, this next piece of news comes from Walter Bloomberg on Twitter. Morgan Stanley files for Bitcoin and Solana ETFs, y'all. I think they're super late on the Bitcoin ETF. because BlackRock is already running that. But if they want to have one for themselves, maybe they just wanted the people who have their money in Morgan Stanley to be able to invest in Bitcoin without having to buy IBIT, which is understandable. But I still think it's pretty late. They should have been did it a long time ago. I know it's at least 10 other Bitcoin ETFs right now. But as far as Solana, yeah, I think that the first Solana ETF came out, I believe, last week. We talked about it on this show. So, yeah, they might get some money over there in the Solana, but I doubt if they're going to get much for Bitcoin. But shout out Morgan Stanley, man, giving people the access, because Bitcoin and crypto is here to stay, y'all. All right. This next piece of news comes from Lisa Su on Twitter. She said, great to kick off CES 2026 as we work with our entire ecosystem of partners to bring AI everywhere for everyone. We brought out Helos, our rack scale AI solution to Vegas, showcase our expanded portfolio with Instinct MI455X, MI440X for enterprise, and MI430X for supercomputing, and launched the new Ryzen AI 400 series and Ryzen AI Halo, bringing powerful AI to personal devices and the edge. Thanks to our partners, and she listed off a bunch of them. So you can check out her actual tweet if you want to see who those partners were, y'all. All right, let's see if we have any more news. This is from Stock Market News on Twitter. It says, AMD CEO Lisa Su said she expects 5 billion people to be using AI daily within 5 years, y'all. 5 billion people, y'all. This next piece of news comes from Walter Bloomberg. He says the Colombian army should defend their country's territory and sovereignty in case the U.S. military invasion, the foreign minister says. So they preparing for Trump's invasion in Colombia, y'all. All right. I think that's it. Let me run these prices one more time, y'all. Let's see where we at. AMD is down 1.25% at 218. Bitcoin is at 93,870. IBIT is down over 0.25% at 53.29. Ethereum is at 3,291. BMNR is barely over break even at 33.35. Palantir is up 1.5% at 176.75. Hood is down 1% at 122. Grab is up 4% at 529. XLG is up 0.25% at 59.43, y'all. All right. I still got to catch up on more stuff that happened at CES yesterday. I'll get to it. I do got a couple more Instagram motivational clips. Y'all check it out.
They demanded 2 hours of reading a day. For example, I want to give you some historical perspective. One of my favorite groups to study is the Black Panther Party. I feel like they were everything that we say we need and want in this moment. When we think about the boldness, when we think about the flair they had, the style, right? They demanded 2 hours of reading a day. They demanded new members go through 12 weeks of political education. But we talk about not just that, but the idea that they knew that you also had to study the success of other communities. that they knew that we could recruit folks who were coming out of jail because they just got caught up in the system, and they could recruit people who were in gangs because, again, they were just caught up in a system that was using them nefariously, but put in the proper environment, they would grow and flourish the way they needed to. They knew the importance of racial solidarity and class solidarity. And many of them were doing this, y'all, at a very young age. We're talking that the average age of the Black Panthers was 20. We're talking most of the members, y'all, were women, 60%. And Bobby Seale, the founders, the first member officially, Bobby Hutton, was 16. We're talking they were getting students in high school, sophomores, juniors to join their organization. The Black Panthers were demanding something of the system. They demanded 2 hours of reading a day. For example, I want to give you some historical perspective. One of my favorite groups to study is the Black Panther Party. I feel
Black Panthers, y'all. Do your research. Do your research. That was good knowledge right there. When it comes to making money, y'all, when it comes to the stock market,
it don't happen overnight. And there's going to be moments when it's really, really frustrating. And there's going to be moments when it's really, really inspiring and empowering. And if you get too high off the highs and too low off the lows, you're going to take yourself on a ride that's very uncomfortable. I think it's just about being committed to the work and appreciating it, when it's good, and not stressing too bad when it's bad. Just appreciating the work and staying focused on showing up every day.
Shout out Nip. Okay, y'all, I want to show y'all my free flashcards that I created. It's called Stock Market Basics, Beginner Flashcards for New Investors. I have a drop-down menu here. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat right now, right quick. Give me a second to put this in the chat, y'all. All right, it's in the chat. On YouTube, it's in the chat. On TikTok, it is not. It is in the chat on YouTube. So if you wanna get these free flashcards, you do have to go on my YouTube channel. Actually, on TikTok, it's in my bio, so the link is in the bio, y'all. Okay, so what is the stock market? You just hit flip, it'll give you the answer, and it'll give you an example. Go to the next question. What is a stock? Hit flip, it'll give you the answer, it'll give you an example. So there's 10 cards on here. Q&A number 2, I got 10 more cards. And then what is a brokerage account? Hit flip, it'll give you the answer, and it'll give you an example. All right, and then I got the ABCs of investing. If you go down to the bottom, the full master deck, each letter gets a word associated with it. A for asset. Hit flip, it'll give you the answer, and it'll give you an example. So outside of these cards, I actually just dropped this YouTube video yesterday. That's Stock Market Basics for Beginners that actually aligns exactly with these cards. So I'm going to go ahead and play that now. It's about 4 minutes. So this is for beginners, and you can watch it on my YouTube channel as well.
What exactly is the stock market? Think of it as a giant online grocery app for businesses, where you pick up shares or items for your portfolio or pantry. The market building is where all company brands are kept in one place. Investors aim to buy these brands when they are on sale at a lower price. What is a share or a stock? Think of a sheet cake analogy. A $1 trillion company is cut into billions of bite-sized pieces or shares to make it affordable for everyone. Even though your piece is small, it's 100% real cake, and its value grows if the whole cake grows. Why do companies sell pieces of themselves to the public? Companies sell shares to raise cash to grow faster and find partners. They are building a global empire and need fuel, your money, to reach their big dreams. When they win, you win. Investing is the act of consistently contributing your money to a wealth-building machine. It's a long-term habit of buying pieces of great businesses. Saving is like buying bottled water, but investing is like building a reservoir. You're building generational wealth that can support your family for decades. What is inflation? It's the invisible money eater that causes prices to rise, meaning your dollar buys less over time. Inflation is like a leaky water bottle, where drops of your savings leak out every year. You invest so your money grows faster than the money eater can increase prices. Why invest instead of just saving? Saving is defensive, keeping what you have. Investing is offensive, making it grow. Saving is like putting star players on the bench, safe but unable to score. Investing is putting them on the field to work and earn a paycheck so you eventually don't have to. A brokerage account is a special financial app or toolbox to help you manage, track, and grow wealth. Think of it as a professional greenhouse. A bank account is a dark closet where seeds never grow. The greenhouse provides the soil and environment for your investments to grow for years. What is a share price? It's the current price tag for one single crumb of a company, reflecting what shoppers are willing to pay right now. To find a good deal, you must look at the value in the piece, not just the sticker price. How much money do you need to start? And what are, quote, fractional shares? You can start with less than $100 because fractional shares allow you to buy slices of high-priced companies. This removes the velvet rope for new investors, allowing you to own profit-making power immediately. You make money from investments in two ways: capital gains and dividends. Capital gains are when the value goes up, like a tree getting bigger. Dividends are when the company pays you cash, like fruit falling off the tree. You want a mix of both for generational wealth. Compound interest is, quote, interest on interest. It is the mathematical snowball effect where your money earns a profit and then that profit starts earning its own profit. Compound interest is the engine and your contributions are the gasoline. It builds wealth exponentially. An ETF, or exchange-traded fund, is a basket of stocks. Instead of buying one company, you buy a single share of a fund that owns hundreds. It's like buying a pre-made fruit salad bowl instead of a single pineapple. ETFs are the easy button for keeping your wealth growing. A sector is a specific category of the economy. Broad market ETFs are like a pre-filled cart. Sector ETFs, like the technology aisle, let you shop in just one category. Specialized ETFs focus even more, like the semiconductor shelf. These options let you focus your investments. Risk in investing is the possibility that your investment could lose value. However, the biggest risk is inflation eating your money while you're too afraid to act. Managing risk is like driving with a seatbelt and speed limit. Stay diversified and keep your eyes on the long-term road. Market volatility is the up and down movement of stock prices. It's temporary, normal, and creates opportunities. Volatility is like the drops on a roller coaster, while growth is the upward slope. Don't confuse a dip with a defeat. When prices drop, it's a flash sale, the best time to add to your reservoir.
Think volatility is scary? Zoom out. In the last 5 decades, the market has been positive nearly 80% of the time, with an average annual return of 11.7%. The long-term story is always the same: growth. If you're playing the long game, you're already winning. Hit that follow button for more ways to master the market. Peace, blessings, financial freedom.
That's it, y'all. So if you want to watch that again, just go on my YouTube channel and you'll be able to watch it again. And feel free to share it with somebody who is new to investing that wants to learn. This is very basic information that is broken down with analogies to help you understand it easy. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody on YouTube Live and TikTok Live. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. We'll be back tomorrow in the pre-market, y'all. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings, financial freedom. Peace, blessings.